What's up, Throttlers? Aristotle, Full Throttle here, and I have a very special guest with me today, Koricon. He has got 3 channels. He is a movie reviewer, TV reviewer, and YouTuber extraordinaire. And he is joining me today because the Avengers Infinity War trailer just dropped a couple days ago. I finally got to see it. The reaction is up on the channel. So after this video, maybe go watch the reaction, or maybe pause this video and watch the reaction simultaneously, however you like to do it. So Koricon, what did you think about that crazy trailer?
With the Infinity War trailer, they crammed so much information into 2 minutes. I understand why they hit the $230 million or 230 million views. Is just people having to watch it over and over again just to be able to get everything.
My mind was blown.
Yeah, especially with the... we'll talk about this on the video we do on my channel, my other channel, but with Justice League having a CGI villain,
yes,
didn't look very good. But
no. I was not down with the. It was yet another CGI villain in the Justice. Spoiler alert! But you got Batman versus Superman, big CGI Doomsday. You've got Wonder Woman, and you got sort of the big CGI god at the end. And now you've got Justice League, and they seem to be going with this trope and doubling down on it.
Yeah.
In fact, so.
But with Infinity War, it's a CGI villain. However, they have the power of Disney animators behind it. So It does look a lot better. Like even micro expressions. I was impressed on the micro expressions that Thanos had, where he had like a very slight smile that would come up on half of his face, or the way that his eyes would move.
Right.
A lot of CG characters, you don't get those micro expressions. They're pretty stone until they start to talk, and then it looks overly animated.
Yeah, that's something that I always would notice about a lot of the CG characters, is that their faces are almost moving a little too much. Mm-hmm. Or I mentioned this in my Warcraft review, is that there's something about animators or I guess certain styles of animation where there isn't the right stillness for a character. They're always sort of like floating in space. Like whenever, especially in Warcraft, they're just, I'm a character. I'm just going to stand here and float.
They do that in the game, though.
They do. So maybe they were just sort of matching that vibe.
If anything, it's accurate to the source material.
Very true. I do think, however, you're right about the Disney animator part of the Avengers Infinity War trailer, because Thanos, despite being an animated cartoon-ish villain, he does have a realness. He does have like an actual micro expression. I know it's performed by Josh Brolin, and I'm sure they're doing all sorts of mocap with motion capture with that. And that was, I would say, as far as the trailer goes, it was interesting to see Thanos without his helmet, without his gear.
Right.
But I was watching an interview with one of the Russo brothers, and he was saying that Thanos he's been getting stronger throughout his journey to recover the Infinity Stones, so he no longer needs that armor, and that is why he's sort of stripping himself of any sort of protection.
Now, are they going to explain that in the film, or are they just hoping everybody sees the interview?
Yeah, well, that's exactly it. That'll be the DVD extras, I think.
That's part of the blooper reel.
Yeah, that's going to be cut out of the movie.
Yeah, because I've had a lot of people talk about, like, some comments on my reaction video, and I've seen people like Collider and some other people talk about it too, is that when he punched Iron Man, like, he killed him. Like,
you think so?
No.
That was it?
I don't think that's when he died, but people are saying one of the most powerful villains in the universe just punched Iron Man. He's got to be dead. Like, if he's not, it doesn't make sense. And then, but they also showed in the trailer of him pinning SpiderMan to the ground.
Yeah.
And he didn't kill him there either. It felt like he was toying with them, like he's playing with them.
That's exactly how I took it, actually. I saw, and I was like, oh, he just smacked down Iron Man like it was nothing.
But I don't think he did full force. I don't think he was trying to kill him. It's more of like he's amused. He's amused that you're trying to fight him. I'm going to punch you and knock you out, but I'm not going to kill you yet. I'm going to play with you like a cat playing with his toy, or playing with my leg right now because you keep scratching me up. Stop it.
That's pretty. You've got a little tiny Thanos. You're like Thanos to your cat being Iron Man right now.
Actually, he's about the size of Thanos. He's a 27-pound Maine Coon. This is a huge-ass cat. Anyway. But, yeah, so I think he was just playing with him. You know.
Yeah.
I think if he hit him full force, that he probably could kill him. But he also didn't have all of the stones yet. He's not at full power, all that kind of jazz.
Right. Well, there's also a shot of the Hulkbuster armor, the Iron Man Hulkbuster armor, but I was reading something that was saying that it might not actually be Tony Stark wearing that armor because of the way he's moving. If you notice, he sort of lands
the side jump.
The side jump, and that's very Bruce Banner Hulk. So maybe. Well,
and they showed the scene where you're seeing Bruce Banner and you see the arm of the Hulkbuster behind him.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
Yeah.
Some of the things that. Go ahead.
I was just saying, so it makes perfect sense that they would come to that conclusion. One, for the Hulk jump, but two, they show them in the same scene in the trailer. So it makes sense that maybe he doesn't want to turn into Hulk because they showed in Thor Ragnarok, he's afraid that if he turns again, he'll never turn back. Right. And so maybe he just gets in the Hulkbuster outfit so that he could have the power without turning.
Right. And it's, I can see that, which is cool, because maybe if in fact Tony Stark does die, he sort of will, take on the armor, and because they're best buds, they're bros, and he's probably one of the few guys who could operate that machinery, I guess. I mean, that's just a speculation, but he does get smashed through Doctor Strange's place in Manhattan. They showed Bruce Banner in the floor, confused and out of it, and you're like, who can pummel the Hulk back into Bruce Banner other than Thanos? So they're setting this guy up to be really, really intimidating, because we've seen the Avengers throughout all of these movies able to take care of business, and now they've really got to set it, and it's going to be across two movies, the next two Avengers movies. Now we have to see someone who's going to be an actual formidable opponent, and Thanos is. I have faith in the Russos for setting that up. One of the cool things. Were you going to say something about that?
Yeah, what I was going to say about some of the deaths, I've had subscribers talk and say with an interesting theory is, they think the people that are going to die are the people that talk in the beginning of the trailer. So, Nick Fury, Tony Stark, Captain America, and Black Widow. Right.
Yeah, this might be the last we see of them. And we'll maybe get the new incarnations of those characters. People are definitely going to die in the next two movies.
Yeah, I think Captain America will go.
Yep.
Because he is very much of a character that would die in a heroic. I mean, he's tried to die being the hero in previous movies. He just ended up being frozen, or something else. So he has no problem dying for his cause.
Yeah.
I think that's the way he's going to go. Tony Stark, I don't think they're going to kill him off, because he feels more like a support character now.
Yeah.
Where you don't have to have him in the movies, but just be able to talk about him, or to be able to say, oh, Tony Stark made me a new this or that. Mm-hmm. So to have him alive and in the background, even if he's never on camera again, to be able to provide new suits and new armors and new technologies, I don't think they would kill him off. They would just keep him back there. But he should give the suit to the new girl that's in the comic books.
Yep. Yeah, she's 15. She's a high school student, I think. So
Now,
she's like,
but it might be a little bit too much like Spider-Man right now, because it's basically what he just did. Is he just gave that suit, the iron suit, to Spider-Man?
Yeah, the Iron Spider. That suit actually looks pretty cool. I'm excited about Spider-Man in this new movie. I think even in the trailer he gets hit and you can hear like an iron like dink. So like he's actually got a little bit extra layer of protection.
And I like his Spidey sense.
The Spidey sense is just what I was going to say, because they didn't address that in Homecoming, and that's a big part of Spider-Man in the comic books. I read a lot of Spider-Man when I was a kid, so that's always the thing that alerts him to something that's going on around him. And the fact that they addressed it in their sort of real world kind of way, even though the MCU has just gone off the rocker with like pure magic from Doctor Strange to the latest Thor movie, which is just goofiness and just insanity, and the Guardians of the Galaxy. And I'm loving it. I'm loving how we got here too, how we incrementally got to the spot. But the fact that Spider-Man now has like an actual way to show his spider sense instead of just having like these little things appear above his head in the comic books,
or have the sound and everything slow down.
Yeah. That was the other version of the original, or was that the Sam Raimi one where Deathstroke Tom Manganiello, who played Flash Thompson,
right?
And but we'll talk about that in the other video. Yeah, I loved the fact that Spider-Man now has a way to visually represent his Spidey sense, and the image of Captain America leading that charge with Black Panther and the Hulk and Winter Soldier,
War Machine.
That is an image that's like a cover of an Avengers comic.
But you know what I really liked about that image? That image reminded me a lot of the previous Avenger films. Like they all had that image.
Yeah, that moment.
Yeah, that moment, like in Age of Ultron, was all of them jumping sideways in the snow.
Yeah.
Hulk had that weird, like, kind of.
Yeah.
But for me, it was seeing the Wakandan Army behind them.
Yes, that was cool.
I loved that. Them running towards the camera was cool, but seeing the Wakandan Army...
Yeah.
That's what got me excited. I'm like, we get to see the Wakandan Army like at full strength and going, full battle crazy. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's going to be insane. And they're just kicking the crap out of those 4-armed aliens. And yeah, that's exciting. That gets me pumped to see Black Panther, which is coming out in, I guess, early next year. And that's going to be the next movie before, I think there's only one movie before Infinity War, and that's Black Panther.
And then the next one after that is Ant-Man and the Wasp. But like I guess what makes me excited for the Wakandan Army is you have an army where everybody has vibranium.
Yeah.
Because you're on the continent of where it's mined.
And where they're holding out on it too. They don't right. necessarily.
So you basically have thousands of Captain Americas. That would be awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. I'm excited to see. There's actually, you notice, Captain America is running, and he doesn't have a shield, but he does have sort of Black Panther-esque or Wakandan Army gear on, which it should be really cool to see too. And I heard there might be his energy shield in this, but...
Well, that's a theory. When he says, get him his shield.
Yeah.
Get this man a shield. That was the theory, that he gets that energy shield. But I'm thinking that he was just talking to his sister, who makes the armor.
Right.
And she gave him the gauntlets, or whatever you want to call them, the arm guards that put together makes a shield.
That's cool.
I think that is the shield that he was talking about.
Right.
That he ends up getting. But I think he was just talking to his sister and saying, basically outfit him with our stuff.
Right. That's interesting. Also, another interesting thing is Scarlet Witch and Vision.
With skin? with
He's
skin.
got skin. Yeah, I was like, he looks kind of like a regular dude. There, is this something that he can do, or is this maybe a dream sequence? Like, what's happening here? Because I guess at the end of Civil War, they were at odds. They were on other sides of on opposing teams.
But I can see two things. One, a dream. I could very much see a dream just because of the way it was shot. It had a lot of like the diffused light around them.
Yeah.
And whenever I see diffused light like that, I think dream sequence.
Dream sequence, yeah.
But I could also see Vision making a skin for himself to appear more human.
Yep.
I could totally go with either one, but the way that it was lit in that scene, it feels like a dream sequence to me.
Right. I'm going to go with dream sequence for now. The thing I love, Vision is one of my favorite characters in this MCU. I think the way that it had been, Paul Bettany was the voice of Jarvis, all the way up to the point where they like integrated Jarvis technology with the vibranium, with Ultron consciousness technology, and Paul Bettany gets to play him. Like, I just thought that was such a cool long game.
Yeah. And one he was not expecting at all. Like when they told him that they want him to play Vision, he had no idea. They just came to him and said, "Okay, so now you're going to be a person now."
That's so cool.
He's like, "Oh, cool."
I love the way it worked out. I love the birth of Vision. I know a lot of people have problems with the way Age of Ultron came out. I like the movie overall. It is a little bit clunky, but his birth, where he comes out, and he's like observing the world, and he's like kind of floating there, and then he like looks over at Thor, and then just creates a cape because he looks at Thor's cape, models it, and it explains why he would have a cape. It's like such like little details like this that I think is really cool about how they explain things. Like, again, like the Spidey says, the hair comes up on his arms, and we immediately know what's happening. And I like the way that they handle like these little things, like how are they going to do magic? How are they going to do this? And they figure out ways to make it make sense in that world.
And it does. Doctor Strange really did a great job of bringing all of that into the MCU and making it feel believable.
Yep. And I love that movie too. That was a good one. I feel like it was, as far as the MCU movies go, it was probably on par with, as it should have been. I think it was a little bit, I don't know. I liked it a lot. I think, though, there's some standouts. Like, I think this latest Thor is a standout. I think the first Avengers is a standout. And I liked Civil War, and I also like The Winter Soldier. Those are all...
I also am very partial to the first Captain America movie, but it's because I love period pieces. Mm-hmm. And so I really loved seeing everything in the 1930s, and that whole aesthetic of it I loved. That's one of the reasons I absolutely loved Wonder Woman, was I loved the period piece of World War One. So even though the movie itself is not as good as some of the others story-wise, I did like Red Skull. I thought Hugo Weaving did a great job as Red Skull.
He's always awesome, yeah.
He is.
Yeah.
I mean, you just got to make him do a voice, basically, and he's
Mr. Anderson.
I'm glad he didn't do that one. But I thought Red Skull was good, and I loved the period piece of it. So I'm partial to that first movie. But all of the Captain America movies have been really good. Yeah. It helps that, two of them were basically Avenger movies.
Yep, that's true, and that's the beauty of, like, going into this. When I first saw the Avengers were coming out, I was like, how are they going to get all these big personalities together in this big film? And of course, Joss Whedon is like, let me show you how. Let me do that for you. And then, excellent job. And the fact that it's like, this is like the comic books. You buy the next issue of Hulk, you buy the next issue of SpiderMan. All that storyline continues throughout each one of those next issues, and I thought that was really cool. Which brings me to, there's talk now. Sony is now contracting the Spider-Man characters to the MCU, and now there's talk that Fox might commission the X-Men and integrate, and the MCU, Marvel, Disney might inherit a lot of those characters. Do you think they're going to stick with the same actors as the characters if, in fact, theoretically this does work out?
No.
Yeah.
And I think
reboot.
No, I think they would start fresh. I don't know if they should give X-Men right away, because they're still doing, well, Apocalypse wasn't good, but the other ones were good. Of course, it is set up for a reboot, and I would say, go ahead, actually. Just keep X-23 so that we can get a sequel to Logan.
Right.
Because
and sort of like bring her in.
Well, Disney is not going to do an R-rated movie.
No.
So you're not going to get the R-rated Logan sequel with X-23. Keep Deadpool, because they're not going to do Deadpool. If Disney does take Deadpool, I want them to get like a contract signed with Ryan Reynolds that we are allowed to continue making our movies the way we want to make them, and you just release them somewhere else and not under the Disney banner. But otherwise, I think Fox should retain the rights to Deadpool. I really want them to give away Fantastic Four, because Fox hasn't done anything with them worthwhile. The last movie was abhorred, just horrid. And
that was bad. That was a bad movie.
It's not even funny bad. Like, that movie made the other two movies look fun, which was weird, because before that, those movies were really bad.
You couldn't think they could make it worse, but they somehow did.
Yeah. I would rather watch the Roger Corman one than
the unreleased one from like 1990.
I would rather watch that one than the new one. It was so bad.
Right. That one actually has I think his name is Jay Underwood. He plays Johnny Storm. He was the boy who could fly.
It's been a long time since I saw that one.
I haven't seen that one in a long time, but Roger Corman also did that as sort of contractually obligated to make a Fantastic Four movie in order to retain the rights.
Yeah, they did not even mean to release it. Like, there was no... They were just going to make it and shelve it just to retain the rights.
Yeah, which is so bizarre to me. It's just like, give it away. If you love something, set it free. let MCU and Kevin Feige figure out how to make it all work, because so far we're like 17 movies in and everything is so seamlessly integrated in such a way that I just couldn't imagine. I mean, as a kid, I could imagine it because I would get all the comic books, and the fact that they're able to do this on such a huge scale and that it's good, it's blown my mind.
Well, and that was one of the things I was worried about when they picked up Spider-Man. So when Sony said that they were going to give the rights to Spider-Man for 6 films, I was really happy. I was like, good, Marvel can do something good with that. But then another part of me was going, well, how do you put Spider-Man just like... I don't want him to feel like he was shoehorned into the MCU, because they had no setup for him whatsoever. Yeah.
But they had to sort of reshoot part of Civil War because it wasn't finalized yet. So they had to figure out how to get him in there.
But he didn't feel shoehorned in. They did a very good job of seamlessly like just integrating him into all of the other stories. Yeah. And so after seeing what they did with Spider-Man in Civil War and Homecoming, and he looks natural in the trailer for Infinity War, that I think whoever or whatever they get from Fox, whether it be Fantastic Four, X-Men, or whatever, that whatever characters they integrate into the MCU, I think would be seamless. Like, I'm not worried about it. I think they would do a good job about it. A good job with it.
Yeah, and I hope that they keep varying it up, because it can be fatiguing to sort of have a similar pattern of movies over and over again. And I think, I mean, they're doing a good job. The latest Thor, they handed over the keys to Taika Waititi, and he put his own stamp. He made his movie that he would make using the characters that had been pre-existing, and I thought that was so fun.
And invented my favorite character of Korg. I love Korg.
Korg is the greatest. He's like, oh, you could be new Doug.
He's dead. I just carrying him around. I kind of feel bad. Oh no, he's alive.
Hey everybody, look, he's alive. That's great. Well, on that note, I would like to thank you for coming on the show. This has been very special. Thank you for having me on your show. And you guys out there, definitely check out Koricon Nala. Go to his channels, check out his 2 channels, and subscribe right away. I'll have all of that information in the description box and across the screen by way of magic. Check it out. The
power of editing.
Yeah, the power of editing. If this is your first time here, remember to subscribe to this channel and turn on those notifications. And if you liked hanging out with us for this amount of time, definitely like this video and share it with your friends, your family. It's a good Christmas gift. It costs you nothing, and it enriches everyone around you. Well, thank you guys so much. Koricon Nala, thank you.
Thanks for having me, man.
For sure. Anytime you want to come on the show, you're always welcome.
Yeah!
I'm Aristotle, full throttle. Your bro in the know with the fro, and I'll see you later.
Bye!
I am smoking on that gas. Life should be on Cinemax. Movie.